Hello. I am back from my very not great cold flu situation from the last week. And so I'm back doing this little chit chat. I can't believe that it is like the second last post of the year. Wild. I actually remember writing this exact post, what I learned and how I earned in 2024 a year ago. And it feels like so much has happened this year, but also not that much has happened. I don't know if anyone else feels that way. I feel like maybe that's how every single year feels at this point. But yeah, it's wild that it's December and it's wild that I'm here and that we're talking about the end of year kind of wrap up and review. And it's been a really nice process writing this article. It's probably like one of the first times in a long time that I actually really enjoyed writing this piece. As you probably know, I've been through like a bit of a creative slump on and off over the last few months, but I think maybe partly it's spending a month overseas, feeling really re-energized around like not only writing, but also my mission and the work that I'm trying to do with my Substack and everything else, and the life that I'm building and kind of the products and offerings that I'm building. I'm feeling really energized, and that energy was kind of felt in the writing process when I kind of went through and did my end of year review / reflection, which was very cathartic, by the way. If you haven't done one yet, I fully recommend it because it does make you realize how much you've done. It also can make you realize how much you didn't complete, or like how many side quests you got distracted by, which was certainly the case for me earlier on this year. But all in all, I feel like this has been a solid year. I give myself like a B+, I reckon, after going through this process. But anyway, in this video, I wanted to dive a little bit more deeply into kind of 3 of the big lessons that I've learned this year. Honestly, I've probably learned like a million more, but I need to bank content for 2026, so I can't like go into all of the lessons in this post. But I wanted to talk about 3 that I thought were particularly interesting, or at least are kind of top of mind for me at the moment. So the first one is this idea that more isn't always more and diversifying isn't always the answer. And this is really interesting because for the last 3 years, I've been building a portfolio career. I've talked a lot about income diversification. I've talked a lot about how that is a risk mitigation strategy, like not having all of your eggs and earning potential locked up in one basket. And I've talked about that as being a really smart way of being able to carve up your skills in different ways and monetize them in different ways. I've talked about that in terms of being a nice way to express different parts of your experience, skills, personality, talents in different ways and be able to monetize in multiple directions. And it's like that whole idea of building out your career web, right? And fundamentally, I do believe in all of those things. But I think even for myself, I've kind of preached this sense of like diversify, increase, expand. And I think what I've learned this year as my income mix has changed is that more isn't always better. And while diversification will always be a really cool part of how I approach business and my career, I can't ever see myself just having one income stream again, like not just one product or one job or one client or whatever it might be. But I really have come back to this original thesis that I had, which is a core income stream plus 1, maybe 2 more that are more experimental or long-term builds. And so at the moment, I have the Portfolio Career Operating System, the Mini Offer Playbook, Portfolio Career Mentoring, my Portfolio Career Cohort that I'm building. So that's 4 in the Portfolio Career vertical. I have advisory for early stage beauty brands, broader than that, but like that's kind of like where a lot of my advisory work is with beauty brands. And then fractional / consulting work for, consumer brands, tech startups, etc. So that's kind of like 6-ish, like 6, I guess. And then I have writing, which isn't an income stream, but like it's a huge part of my portfolio and content and stuff like that. So like that's kind of 6 to 7 focuses that I have. And even though my fractional work has really pulled back and my sort of portfolio career products have taken over in terms of the split of income, it has really forced me to think about next year and to go, actually, is more better? Or do I need to really come back to this idea that I have one really core income stream that takes a lot of my focus, effort, energy, and attention, and that I can really pour a lot into, and that I can feel a real sense of accomplishment and completion around, plus some supplementary income streams that are secondary. And so for me, as I think about moving into next year, I actually think there'll be a bit of consolidation in terms of my income streams. I'm not 100% sure what that will look like yet. I think I definitely know what I want the focus to be next year and what secondary might look like. But yeah, it's just an interesting thing that I'm reflecting on as we kind of go into the holiday break, which is I've been in such a 3-year cycle of expanding and diversifying. And actually, I think I'm now at a point where I need to consolidate to kind of reach that next level of impact, which is really my North Star. So that's an interesting lesson that I learned and I've been noodling on. The second interesting lesson that I've learned this year is that the hardest part of building a platform is bringing new people into the orbit, which is top of funnel in marketing speak. And I think I knew this intuitively, like being someone who has worked in business my entire career, but applying this to my own portfolio career and my own self has been really interesting. It's this whole idea of know, like, and trust. And my own personal experience is that once people come into my orbit, the trust is built relatively quickly, particularly if people are subscribers to my newsletter. So hopefully I don't know, sounds a bit of a wanky thing to say, like people like me quickly and trust me quickly. But I think as people come into the orbit, that trust is built relatively quickly because I do give away a lot. I'm really transparent and I try to be super valuable and provide a lot of value for free. But the hard part is actually getting people into the orbit. And for me, pretty much my entire strategy over the last 3 years, and a strategy that has worked, to be fair, because I've built an entire business off this strategy, is building out my network through like in-person networking, in-person relationship building, in like direct outreach, like the old-fashioned way, has been a huge part of my building my personal brand and professional reputation. It has been through LinkedIn, which is a slow burn. Like I don't have a huge following on LinkedIn, but it has been through posting on LinkedIn and connecting with people professionally over there, which has driven a lot of leads and eyeballs to my profile and Substack and stuff. And then Substack. I feel like when I started 2.5 years ago, it was kind of maybe a little bit of the glory days. I don't know, but I think I have, up until this point, had a lot of a lot of people discover me through Substack, which is really, really cool. And so it's really been those 3 channels for me. It's been like direct outreach and old school networking. It's been being consistent on LinkedIn, and it's been, people discovering me through notes, through recommendations, through the Substack algorithm. Like that is actually what has worked for me. But I think I've reached a bit of a ceiling with that 3-pronged strategy, and my overall kind of growth of my platform has plateaued, when up until this point, it literally has been exponential. And so I'm thinking, okay, what I've done to get to this point isn't going to get me to the next point. So like, how do I find new people? How do I bring new people into my orbit? And that was not a priority for me in 2025, to be totally honest with you. Like if you kind of look back at all of the things that I did, it was building products and offering services. It was at that bottom of the funnel stage. It was not at the top of funnel stage. So I have all of these, I think they're incredible. Like all of these, awesome offers and all of this free content and all of this great valuable stuff, but I haven't spent a lot of time filling the top of the funnel. And so that is where I plan to spend the majority of my time in 2026. That's the plan. I'm putting it on camera so I can hold myself accountable to it. But that has been the most challenging part for me, like getting cut through. building that kind of overarching, like, you know, building that presence, I guess, across platforms, and just getting the word out, you know, getting the portfolio career word out and my newsletter out there. So that's been an interesting learning, and I'm excited to kind of tackle that next year. So I've got a few ideas about how I'll do that, which I'll share with you as, you know, as I start experimenting. The third thing that I wanted to talk about is this idea that building good things takes time, but building great things takes an entire career. And I think that with my portfolio career, I have always taken a long-term view in that I know that it takes minimum 5 years to establish anything. Like, if you're going to be building a business, starting a brand, building a personal brand, whatever, like, you have to think about it as a 5-year horizon at a minimum. And anything that, you know, any expectations you have before 5 years, you're kind of setting yourself up to fail. Like, I've learned this the hard way. And so I'm 3 full years into doing this. And there are many, many times when I try and put the cart before the horse. Maybe you recognize that from the outside, maybe you don't, but I have many times tried to put the cart before the horse and do things, you know, not before I was ready, because I believe in doing things before you're ready, but like, I guess wanting things to hurry up and not allowing the space and time to germinate. And I think over the last 3 years, like, I'm at the 3-year point now of doing this and writing about it and talking about it and building IP around portfolio careers and the future of work and stuff. It's only now, 3 years in, that my thesis around this whole portfolio career future of work space is starting to crystallize. And it's only now that my purpose is becoming really clear. So if you go back to all of my old writing, you'll see me talk a lot about or write a lot about the fact that my purpose is to write. And I love writing, it's my purpose in life, it's what I think I can contribute to the world, and all of that is true. But my purpose was really centered around the medium. It didn't really matter to me what I was writing about, just as long as my writing was valuable. And it was all around the medium, it wasn't around the message. And I am now just at a point, particularly coming off the back of my holiday, where I feel like that is still true for me. My purpose is to write. That is the medium. But I feel really, really clear, or I'm starting to feel really clear about the message and my purpose as it relates to the message and the mission and like what I'm trying to do in the world through my writing and the impact that I'm trying to have and the change that I want to enact. And that's taken me 3 years of writing every damn day and thinking every single day obsessively about this space. And so it's been a good reminder to me that building good things takes time, of course, but building great things and having a body of work that you're really, really, really proud of, that's really impacted the world in a positive way, takes an entire career. And, you know, I'm 3 years into this stage of my career, the portfolio stage of my career. I'm only 36 years old. Like, I'm a baby when it comes to like the lifespan of somebody's career. And so that's what I'm kind of channeling as I move into 2026, which is like, I intend on building something great. I feel like I'm on the path there, but it is a lifetime of work, commitment, evolution, all of the above, and I'm up for it. So those are my closing thoughts for 2025. If you've made it this far to the video, thanks. I appreciate you being here, but I just wanted to say thank you. If you've made it this far to the video, you're probably a real supporter of my work, and I just want to say thank you so much for supporting me in 2025, and I hope you have a wonderful holiday season, a wonderful break, and I will see you